Hello and welcome to a dev diary for Stellaris New Horizons Star Trek mod. My name is Matt. I'll be the person today talking about some stuff that we're doing behind the scenes for the upcoming point 8 release in the tech tree. So I'm just going to bring up this is some of the coding that we're doing back here. As you can see, we now have a different level of tech versus the current standard one. And I could actually open up a standard tech. There we go. I'll just pull up the Soch tech. So this is a comparison, so you can see the two different tech trees that we're doing here. So we're going to go move to other view. There we go. So side by side, you can see that we actually now have 9 tiers. Tier 0 being the first one, which everybody gets access to, and tier 9 being the final tier. And if we need to, we can add tier 10, tier 11, tier 12, so on and so forth, now that we've figured out how to properly add in all the different tiers. From here, we've also started changing the tier weighting, trying to keep them the same as much as possible, but expanding it at the same time. We've done some reorganization. You can see that farming now has a lot of the same techs, but we've added a few techs, changed a few names, and try to keep some of the similar flavors, but make them more lore-friendly towards Star Trek. Biolab in engineering. Let me actually collab some of these here. Biolab in education is the new tree on that versus Biolab in colonization, as it once was labeled. Still have the same stuff, but we added a few things in here. Moved a couple of different other techs around to give you access to certain things. Yeah, so that's what's the big news there. As you can see, let me pull open one of these. Let's go with this one. As you can see, it's not quite done. We still have the old tier. Actually, I can change that. I believe that is going to be tier 8. So we're changing that there. I'm doing a quick change there and changing the weights again one more time. There we are. With that, now we have new techs going in. We have requires a holodeck, which is a physics tech. We have global research initiative, which is the previous tech, and predictive tutoring, which is on a different trait line. So we're actually now interconnecting some of these techs, trying to make them more of a roadmap of what's coming on. Let me pull up this map here. So this is our overall overarching design of what is going on. Basic Science Lab is what everybody has access to at the very beginning. Then we can go on and you can see with Improved Science Lab, Xenology, Technology Assimilation, that hasn't been put in yet, but that's going to be another tech that's only going to be researchable by the Borg. Genome Mapping, Zero-G Heuristics, a dangerous tech in genetic engineering. Uplift, the epigenetic triggers, social science lab, predictive tutoring, selective lineages, mass cloning, Gemhard tech, which is from, I believe, the physics, because I'm not sure why we're doing it on the physics. No, that's right, that's not from the physics. That's actually specific to a race. That's why it's colored that way. Then you have the Vorta, because of the Gemhar and the Dominion. And then we go from there. And as you can see, it's just we've mapped out our tree, trying to make it as similar to the original, but at the same time giving it more of a Star Trek feel. And yeah, this is just how we're doing it. That's off. And you can, I still reference the basic techs, looking at what they do, looking at their costs and all that stuff, but incorporating it into our tech tree and trying to build it from there. So that's the big look at what we're doing there. Let's see here. Let's see if other projects that I'm actually involved with. So also for me, as you know, I'm a part of the planet scripting, static world scripting. So you know, I go in here and I've done the static systems and the unbalanced static systems. In the unbalanced, you can see in here how we written out some of the stuff in here, trying to make it more lore friendly, and also how we're scripting out our different pre-warp civilizations in here. As you can see, like on Alpha Centauri, there's a planet called Rigel, and it's from actually a TOS script, and also from the just different reference books put out by Star Trek about the Centaurians, which are a pre-Hellenic society, so pre-Greece society that was transported by I believe it was the Protectors or something. It was the race of before the Iconians even. That's probably after the Iconians that started seeding and moving people around the galaxy, and why we had all a common DNA or genetic makeup between the Vulcans, the Romulans, the Klingons, if you remember that episode from The Next Generation. And also, if you've played Star Trek Online, they did do a couple of episodes, later missions, I want to say, in the Breen chapter about this. And the Centurion are the race of offshoot of the humans that I believe they're humanoid into the fact that they have an extra flexible joint on their pinky. I believe that's only from the Apocrypha or different books. That's the only real distinction. But for the most part, they have a history. They were all formed together under a warlord 400 some years ago, and they were warlike, but were able to form a single planetary government. Very defensive, not xenophobic, but very cautious. But they do have the natural tendencies of the humans to go out and explore. So we built that all up, put in some scripting in here for whether or not they have a space station. As you can see, with the 70% chance to start with the space station, 30% not to start with the space station. Have a decent amount of population, having resources and minerals, food, science and whatnot on there, or have nothing. And yeah, it's actually, I really enjoy it, doing all this, like just going through, I was reading different ways that the developers coded using that, and then modifying it and molding it into how we actually want to do something. That's pretty cool. Then on over here, just coming up with figuring out the star classes that they use and seeing their initializers, and then just tossing in the names for the stars, giving them the star class, and then just going from there, making sure everything's working right, labeling everything proper. The big one there, as you can see, we do a pretty decent job of, we also put notes in here for us to read, so saying like, hey, this is not a homeworld, this is just flavor, or this is the Seer system, Centuria colony. Should get rid of that because we don't need that anymore. Like for Axanar, gives us the actual star system name, not a homeworld, of the Axanari race. If you remember, the TOS, they talk about the Battle of Axanar, which actually, hopefully, eventually becomes the prelude to Axanar, becomes a fan-made film that I would really love to see. I wish CBS wasn't being a bunch of, um, I wouldn't say just being legally about it. I wish they would open up and say, hey, yes, you guys can continue. Just make sure you guys don't make any money off of it. I mean, make sure this is for a nonprofit film that, even though you are paying the actors and actresses and you're covering your costs for set design, building, sets, scouting locations, and then filming and then post production and whatnot, that you guys actually don't turn a profit, so you can't put any ads or whatever. I wish CBS would do that. That said, I understand why they're doing it, because they're worried that this fan film would be better than anything that they're putting out there. And frankly, with today's technology, that is quite possible if enough people get together and fund something for themselves with their friends or via crowdsourcing or whatever, that's a possibility nowadays, that we can actually make something that's commercial and whatnot. But I digress. As you can see, we're trying to put in a lot of star systems. So let me just go up here and collapse some of these down so you can get a feel for how big these scripts are, and how, we really tried going in it, try and give it a reason why these are in here. Which is, I really enjoy doing the giving like the little history in the game. And then as you can see, we're just now getting into some of these minor stars, and it's just like we really are trying to do this game justice by putting in, actual star names, that it's named stars from Star Trek, named locations like the nebula and whatnot. We want to really put it in there. We're making sure we're putting in, like Denobula for Dr. Phlox, Beta Z up here for Counselor Troy and Luxwana. Jural supernova, even though it's not a planet, it's a supernova remnant. It's was a classification of a supernova event. It was mentioned but never investigated as a Jural class supernova event. So whatever that means, we don't know. They never really explained it in either the script or the pre-production script or any of the apocrypha. So we just put it in there as flavor. SETI Alpha system. Set yes. Book it in there. As you can see, I have SETI Alpha, the star, and then you have Alpha 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is SETI Alpha 5. And SETI Alpha 6, which we can do a planet event similar to that of Praxis, but have it on a time where it's going to go boom. And it's going to, so that would be sometime between TOS, TMP. So look out for that eventually. Whether or not it's you actually control the system or have anything on that, that's, that'll be interesting to see happen. Khitomer's in here, Star Trek 6, Talos 4 from the Cage, punishable by General Order 7. One of the only stuff, and as you can see, there's just a lot of information here. Let me see if I can't collapse these. And I'm also using a script to help me navigate this, because there is a lot of lines of code to go through creating all this for the planets. Let me just close that out there. There we go. And it's a lot of information. I have another person with me who works on it, and we talk back and forth all the time. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't have learned how to script half the stuff on here properly. I mean, he's really taught me taught me up on this. He's actually from the Steam community. Specifically, he was able to show us in one of his mods that we actually were able to incorporate and get him on board. Excuse me. That really helped. Let's see here. You can find him on some of his mods that he's done is Star Trek Unleashed for Steam, Mass Effect Unleashed. Let me see what else he's done. Milky Way Unleashed, Soul Unleashed Light, Soul Unleashed, and then he goes by the name handle Osito Def El Pa. I just call him Osito. Um, and he's a really good guy to if you want to make your own mod. He can give you an idea how to do, make certain systems static so they don't move, or make them so they're always there, and then you can just adjust and manipulate them as you go on. If you have any questions, you can contact me via messages on YouTube here, or you can contact me on my Steam account, Janac42, and I'd be JANACK42, and I'd be more than willing to help you try to figure out what issues you're having with your mod, because I feel as part of a mod community that we all should, try to help each other, become better at what we're doing. That, we shouldn't just limit ourselves. That's the big thing is I want to teach. I like teaching. And I want people to be able to do whatever they want, their passion is, what they want to try to do. And I want to help them succeed. And that's just the personality that I have. And so back to here now, we have all these just different systems that he's put in here. I put in a few. I put in about at least 24, if not more, systems in here. So he's put in a lot of these single star systems because he's been watching a lot of Star Trek, and so have I, and tossing in a lot of just we're just gonna scroll back up there and expand that. There we go. And then making sure that we have all of these planets put in here, whether they're like they spent any amount of time in the original series TOS. The motion pictures, we pretty much have gotten them all covered, except for like maybe one or two. I know I have to put in Baku. I'm working on Baku and that planet, but because I want to also try to incorporate the nebula, the briar patch around them, or I'm going to have to put it inside the briar patch. Nemesis, I think we've got everything covered from Nemesis. Insurrection, that was the Briar Patch. First Contact was just Earth, and don't really have to worry too much about that. Generations, we've already covered. We've put in the Amargosa Star and Viridian systems. Star Trek 6, Kittimer, Ruerpente, and also Kittimer. So Kittimer, Ruerpente. Got those in there. Star Trek 5 with Nimbus 3. And we didn't do the planet inside the galactic core. At least I haven't figured out what to call it and how to work with that. Star Trek 4 was on Earth. Star Trek 3, this Genesis planet. Well, that's not really there anymore. And then Star Trek 2, Genesis planet, SETI Alpha 5, and the the Mutara Nebula, that's already in there, and the planet, the planet where Kirk, Bones, and Savick go down to. Oh, actually, the station and the moon. We haven't put that in. Star Trek 1, no real planets other than Earth and Epsilon 9 station and Vulcan, but those are already in there. So yeah, pretty much every single planet in the movies are already put in. Now it's just going back and rewatching and writing down for Next Generation, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, the animated series. So that's just a little preview of what's going on. You can see my background. I'm a big fan. I really like Star Trek Into Darkness, and this is one of my favorite wallpapers that they put out. So hope you enjoyed this little quick look. And this is all on preview stream. And actually, no, this is recording. Okay, good. So yes, that's just about everything. Again, I'll hopefully be able to put out some more videos. Right now, we're just having some issues with our tech tree. A lot of it's implemented, but a part of the problem is we're referencing tech that isn't either correct or worded incorrect, or just something's going on with our tech tree. So we're still having some issues trying to iron it all out, and hopefully we can get it out to you guys here shortly. So thanks for watching and enjoy.